I mean, y'all know the intro song gets me every single time. How you know y'all good? Yesterday, y'all good? We in here. We live in living color. Like I am literally, cause I am bright. Golly, tone it down, tone it. Wow, 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 wow. Sheesh. I don't know if it's the lighting or what, cause girl, you bright, child. Okay, so welcome to another episode of One Being Brave. I'm your host, Domo Jones. Like, y'all good? Today's a great day. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, today's a great day. This week is a great week. We're already about to be Christmas tomorrow because why are the days going by so fast? Child, y'all gotta pipe it down. We need to like I wake up and it's already time to go back to sleep. Like, how long, how long? Alright, so let's get into the house rules. No bashing of race, religion, gender, politics, or sexual preferences. I mean, like by this time y'all should already know. Um, don't do that. I, come on now. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. No profanity. It's too many words, like in the dictionary. Like it's like way too many. And we're about to use, if not all of them, or majority. The ones that okay, yeah, y'all know what I mean. Also, this show is called One Being Brave because it represents the 1 billion people of the world that have a disability and or medical condition. So the old heads, you already know what I'm about to say. The old heads, you already know what I'm about to say. The newcomers, listen in and gather in and learn quick. Get you one of us in your circle. Don't get me, but get you one of us. Because I'm telling you, like, we top tier. You're welcome. I'm going to say you're welcome now because I already know, like, once you get you one of us, you're going to be like, dang, Domo, like, why didn't you say nothing earlier? You should have listened. Because I'm telling you now, just get you one of us. And, okay. Because if you know, you know. Right? Also, this is one of the most important rules of this show. Y'all got your good ears on? Okay, cool. We talk about Jesus Christ on this one. Like on this show, we're gonna talk about Jesus because, like, first of all, that's my dog. Hi, Mom. First of all, that's my dog. That's one. Two, he's the main thing. So we're gonna keep him the main thing. And if he's not your main thing, it's cool. But he's gonna be ours on this show. I don't know what y'all thought this was. Child. Also, this is the last most important rule. Shoot, what is the most important rule? Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out how to say this, and I don't know why I don't know how to say this right, but I'm gonna try to figure it out. Okay, so this show is one of the most. Nope, that wasn't it because it's not most. This show is one of the shows that has a hostess. Thank you, Father, because you're giving it to me as I'm talking. This show is one of the shows that have a hostess with a disability that interviews guests with disabilities and or medical conditions. Domo, you did it again. Golly, I tell you, you did it. Sheesh. Now just finish it out. So that means that Lady O, Tyler Perry, and Mother Ava DuVernay, I'm coming to all three of y'all houses. Like Lady O, I'm coming to the house first. Like the weather's kind of switching up. It's getting a little hot sometimes. I don't know. Spring is not springing for some reason. Like it's still sleep, but it's cool though. We can go in the house real quick, make some tea, crumpets. I don't know. You just don't have no cucumbers because I'm allergic. Okay, we gotta chop it up. Then I'm gonna go up the street real quick to Tyler Perry's house. We can go to your house. We can go to your studio. We can go wherever. It don't matter. You choose the place and just send me your location. And then we're gonna chop it up. Then we're gonna go to across the way, like maybe like 2 streets over. Yeah, I like that. I like the way that sounds. 2 streets over to Rockefeller real quick, so me and Mother Ava DuVernay can get our locks done and we can chop it up. We have stuff to talk about. That's just pretty much where I'm getting at. We have a lot of things to talk about. So I'm introducing myself now. Hey, how's it going? Hope your day is great. Hope you ate good and took all your vitamins. I'm Domo. Nice to meet you. Now that we got the intro out the way, we let's get down to business to defeat the odds. Y'all know that song? Y'all don't know Mulan? Come on. Listen. Okay, Gabe, who is the brave heart for? Thank you, Gabe. Thank you, Gabe. Because you know. If you know, you know. Thank you, Gabe. Gabe, who the brave heart for this week? Who we got? Okay, because you can't tell me she's not. I am not about to butcher that name. We're going to say at PAUUZZO. Because, child, no, you ain't about to ban me. Her disability is she has CP, cerebral palsy. But let me tell you, Gabe, could you take away the thank you. No, not the picture. Not the picture. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Gabe. Let me tell you, you can't tell me she don't look fly though. I mean, the whole fit with the boots and the cane looks like it has a skull on it, which is cool. You know, you do your thing, big dog. But the fact that it's hers, like she made it her own. It's not no rinky dinky regular cane. You feel me? Like, come on. At PAUUZZO, you're doing your big thing. Period. And seeing New York. Dun, dun, there's nothing we can't do. All right, so yes, thank you, Gabe. She has cerebral palsy, CP, and we appreciate you for doing your thing. Thank you for the confidence that you have, and we appreciate you. You are the Braveheart for this week. All right, so let's get into one thing I want to address, but it's not really like a negative thing, but it's a thing real quick. So, y'all know I don't really like talking about myself like that. Like that's what this show is not about. But I get this question asked often. I get 2 questions asked often. I don't mind answering questions. I just don't like talking randomly about myself. Like if you ask me something, I'm gonna answer. These questions I get all the time. Is all this my jewelry? And also, how many pair of glasses do I wear? Because every episode I have on a different pair. And I never knew how many people notice things because I just be doing me, you feel me? So to answer one question, is this all my jewelry? Yes and no. Meaning, this is my jewelry, but it's not all of it. That I should not be saying that out loud. That's crazy. Huh? I only got 2 ears, girl. Girl, you only got 2 ears. Why you got so much jewelry? So I like jewelry. Okay, if you can't tell, I like jewelry. I like colors. If you can't, you see all this. Yeah. So I have 3 jewelry overalls. That's one behind me, and then that's 3. And then on top of that, I have more jewelry. So, okay, yeah, I feel like I'm talking about myself a lot. This is extreme. Yes, so I have a lot of jewelry. Okay, moving on to the next question. How many pair of glasses do I have? Okay, so let me keep it a buck. I literally just bought 2 more pair today. That's horrible. Girl, you only got 2 eyes. You need to pipe it down. Like, how much seeing do you need to see at this point? There's only so many colors in the world. How many? Okay. So hi Mama Sonia, love you. So how many pair of glasses do I have? I have, as of today, I have 29 pair. That is, why did you say that out loud? Girl, Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me that I'm not gonna buy no more this year. You've had it. Okay? Ain't no more seeing. Cause I'm gonna be real mad if my vision changes. Okay, Gabe, you don't have to say okay. You don't have to the bold, like, I don't think it's that necessary. I feel like you're reaching just a taste. But yeah. Okay, that's the answer to my question. I mean, that's the answer to two questions. I have a lot of pair of glasses and I wear a lot of jewelry. All right, that should wrap it up. Because we need to bring out our next guest. That's the most important thing. Like, that's why we're all here. Gabe. See? See? Because you're showing out. You're showing out, Gabe. You want to be on the, you want to be on the live so bad. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, you want to be on live so bad. Just wait your turn, Gabe. Wait your turn. Like, I got you, bro. All right, so we're gonna be our next guest. Y'all know how I get down for the old head. Y'all know how I get down. I meet my guests 10 to 15 minutes before the show because that's what makes it interesting. Yeah, there we go. So I'm super grateful that I hit her up and without any hesitation, she was like, "Yes, I will be a guest on your show." Like, that's the kind of people I like. So I hope she knows that she's locked in for life. Like, she's stuck with me. Stuck with me. All right, so Ann, come on out. Come on out. Come on out.
Woohoo!
What?
Hello, hello.
Hey, thank you so much for gracing the stage. I appreciate it so much, so much.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Let's get it. All right, so let's get into it. For the people in the back, can you tell us where you're from and the name of your disability or medical condition?
I am from Waco, Texas. Love it down here. It's not too hot yet. And my medical condition is I still have atrophy in my toes after overcoming quite a bit from an incident that almost took my life and my leg 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Lisa. Lisa, you gotta change your last name because you're not a Hightower no more. You a Smith. You feel me? I love you. So, can you tell us what atrophy is for people that don't know?
Atrophy is having a part of your body that you can't control. Because what happened to me, well, I ended up with a body full of blood clots because of an allergic reaction to an antibiotic.
What?
Yes. And so I had to have emergency surgery, which, thanks to the good Lord above, I survived.
Okay.
But then when I woke up, the surgeon told me that during this emergency surgery, my left leg had developed compartment syndrome, which means it had gotten so swollen from all the blood clots that it nearly burst. So he had to do what they call a double fasciotomy, meaning they cut my leg on either side to relieve the pressure in an attempt to save it. He told me
Wow.
what he did, but said it didn't work. Your left leg and foot are dead, and we're preparing to amputate. And that's what I woke up to. Yes. So,
Oh,
yeah, quite scary to wake up to that.
right.
And yeah, it was awful. And I had gone in because I didn't realize I'd had the allergic reaction. I knew something was happening. I
Mhm.
had taken an antibiotic for the flu and within a few hours had lost feeling in both of my legs from the knees down and couldn't walk.
Really?
Yes. So that's what led to, being rushed into emergency surgery, them finding the blood clots,
Yeah.
going through all of that. And so when I woke up, my right leg thankfully had gone back to normal, but my left leg, that had happened to it, and I still had no feeling in it.
So when you say no feeling, like, you literally mean like someone could tap you, touch you, sock you, and you couldn't feel it like at all?
Nothing. It was gone.
Wow.
Yep. And so that's what I woke to. And I'm a very positive person. I'm also, got my faith, big believer.
Mhm.
And so for 2 days while they waited, I focused on prayer, and gratitude. I kept
Yeah.
thanking God for my life. And then I asked him for one more favor, please, let me keep my leg and my foot.
Yeah.
And on the third day,
Come.
My leg and foot came back to life. They found a pulse.
Really?
Yep. And so I was able to keep my leg. But the surgeon then said to me, even after seeing two miracles clearly,
Yeah.
I mean, no one could deny it. Two
Yeah.
miracles. He still said to me, well, you get to keep your leg, but you might have been better off with the prosthetic. I said, what? He said, well, because of the nerve damage with what he had to do, we don't know if or when you will ever get your feeling back. And so you're probably going to be a gimp the rest of your life.
Wow.
Those were his next words. That was the first time I cried in 3 days.
Okay, because okay, so wow, that's a lot to hear.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to hear. Okay, so when you first of all, I want to ask this question. When all this occurred, how old were you? Or you don't have to like say your age if you don't want to, but were you like older, younger?
This was just a little over 5 years ago. And so I hadn't reached age 50 yet.
Okay. So before that, did you have any medical complications like at all, or was this all new?
All new. They ran every
Really?
test you can imagine, and they could find nothing wrong with me. Nothing showed that this should have happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah,
And this
just
all stemmed from the flu?
yep. Started with the flu, took the antibiotic, and within a few hours, all the rest of this happened to me.
So how did you end up finding out that the specific antibiotics was an allergic reaction to you? Like how did you even know? Did they have to test that too?
They didn't have a way of really testing it,
Okay.
and honestly, they don't like to blame medications.
Yeah.
And so, they like I said, that's why they ran all these tests. Every day they were coming in and drawing more blood and, doing more tests because they didn't want to blame the antibiotic.
Hmm.
But they couldn't think of anything else. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
eventually, I was on hormones at the time. So they finally said they called it a whammy between that particular antibiotic and the hormones. And so they said for the rest of my life, I can't take hormones, and to put that medication, of course, on my do not take list.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hey Shanine, love you. That first of all is crazy. Especially to go from, you're fully able bodied to now it's like uh, to the common eye, it's just a common flu. Like
Yeah.
it's not nothing that nobody has ever like overcome or anything. And to then go into a full blown allergic reaction. And you said that's what caused blood clots?
Yeah. My entire body from the kidneys down filled with blood clots.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So during this time, were you in any pain? Like what was that feeling? Did you have any like discomfort at all?
Um, well, before it was just the pain from the flu.
Yeah.
And, but once I lost feeling, there was nothing there. But then, of course, after the emergency surgery, they had to cut me in both groin areas to then go in and start pulling out blood clots. So, of course, when I woke from that, I still didn't have feeling in that left leg. And at the time, it was a blessing because of the two huge wounds. I mean, I'm talking huge wounds. But I luckily couldn't feel them, but I could
Yeah.
feel where they had cut into my groin. And
Oh
so so there was that discomfort. And of course, all the, needles
my.
and
Hmm.
tubes and everything else that they had
Yeah.
in me. So yeah, there was that discomfort and pain, but it was mostly that concern,
Yeah.
that worry of what's going to happen next.
So did they ever tell you how many blood clots they had to take out?
He didn't say how many, but he said this particular surgeon is known for, not just blood clots, but anything to do with the extremities and nerves and
Yeah,
those
yeah.
things. And he said in all of his years of surgery, he had never seen anything like it. and told me I was very lucky to be alive.
Because you're a miracle. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm a miracle.
Period.
Yes.
That is so. How long was the healing process?
Okay, so that's even after the two miracles, that's what came next.
Yeah.
Because I still, didn't have feeling. And
Mhm.
because I didn't have feeling, that was why he said I was probably going to be a GIMP. And so I started out using a walker. That was how I had to get by because I had no feeling in my
Right.
leg.
Right.
And so I started wound care therapy first for the two huge wounds,
Mhm.
because he also said that the two wounds would not heal on their own without plastic surgery, skin graft surgery. So he told me to expect that. Then, of course, told me, it would be hard for me to learn how to walk again. So he gave me this, just list of grim prognoses
Yes.
after this. Well, I
God.
started wound care therapy and basically learned how to become a nurse. I had to learn how to change the dressings on my wounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, thankfully, my mom was a former nurse and I stayed with her for a while and she was able to help me through it.
Mm-hmm.
But it took 7 months to heal the wounds on my leg. But they did heal on their own without surgery. So I beat that prognosis. Then I started physical therapy at the 2 month mark. And at that point, I had finally gotten feeling back down to my ankle. I still had no feeling below my ankle. All of my foot was still numb. But
Really?
even with that and that little bit of movement, I told them I will learn to walk again. Just tell me what to do and I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I will walk. And so from there, I went from using the walker to a cane in the hospital in 6 weeks.
Come on.
6 weeks. And then a month later, ditched the cane and I was walking on my own.
That is
Yep.
amazing.
Yep. But
Like,
still had no feeling in my foot, but still learned how to walk again with no feeling.
okay, so because I don't even know how you can even break that down or even explain it. Like, okay, so when you took a step, how did you know that you were taking a step?
That's the hard part, and that's what I kept asking them. And thankfully, they told me I wasn't wearing a shoe
Yeah.
because my foot had swollen too from all of the pressure. So
Mhm.
I had to go get a pair of shoes with two different sizes
Really?
and put the bigger one on there. And once you have that sole underneath your foot, it does help you feel some sort of contact to the ground. So that helped a little. It gave you a base.
Mhm.
And then he just kept reminding me that you basically have to learn a new mindset. You have to train your brain to work with your body, which the brain and the body working together already are miraculous. And so you have to tell yourself, I had to look every time, but then I had to tell my brain had to tell my foot, take the step. And then the faith came in again because then I had to trust that my foot would do what I told it to do and that it had the strength to hold me there even though I couldn't feel it. And eventually it just got a little bit easier and a little bit easier, but it was rough. It took some time to get past that.
That is amazing. Like, to say that you didn't have feeling in your legs and then you eventually had feeling up until your feet, but you didn't have feeling in your feet, but you were able to walk. Like,
It's
what?
yeah, it's just once again, just miracles all the way through.
That's great. I mean, like, I always I although I have a disability too. So I'm kind of privy to people that deal with things, but it's always so awesome to hear other people's story because I would have never guessed just by looking at you and looking at your profile. Like, I would have never guessed that none of this that you were telling me was what you were dealing with or what you have dealt with. Like, that is like, it's not crazy, but that is amazing. Like, that is amazing. So As now that you're at that point to where you're able to walk, you still have no feeling. Did they tell you that there was like a next step? Did they tell you like, okay, like don't get too excited because you're still not gonna like? Did they give you any like prognosis at all?
Yeah, the grim prognoses kept coming. They told
Mm.
me that, like I said, nerve damage is so still unknown in the
Yeah,
medical field, and
because I
so
have
they,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
and so they told me that
yeah,
if it was a broken leg, we can give you a timeline. If you had
right.
torn ligaments, if you had pulled muscles, we can give you a timeline.
Yeah,
With nerve damage, we don't know. But
yes.
their guess was that if you do not have full feeling back at the 12-month point, don't ever expect to have full feeling. Well, I got to the 12-month point and I had almost all the feeling back except to my toes.
Wow.
But I didn't want to give up at that point. God
Yeah,
had been so good. So
yeah.
that finally, at the 18-month mark, I finally got full feeling back to my toes.
Really.
But that's what then caused the atrophy. Though I
Mhm.
tell people I'm 99% back to normal after everything that happened. But because of no feeling for 18 months, even with the exercises I did, my toes basically curved under. They atrophied, meaning that they had stiffened in that position because there was, I couldn't control them for
Yeah.
18 months. And
Yes.
so that is, after 5 years, that's what I'm left with now is the toe issue. But I'm one of those people, after everything I've seen and all the miracles God's given me, I'm working with toe straighteners. I'm talking to, podiatrists. I'm still have hope that
Yeah.
one day I will get that movement back into my toes. So
You
I'm,
know, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you something, Zan. I love this. I love this moment. I appreciate your story so much because I deal with nerve damage, and my nerve damage has a lot to do with my feet and my right side and the muscle weakness and all that, right? And my mom knows. Mom, you already know. And I've dealt with this since I was 9 years old. I'm 35, but I have a podiatrist, do the physical therapy, like all that stuff, wear leg braces, all that, walker, all that. But I still believe God, like, okay, yeah, it's permanent nerve damage, but you're a God that still heals. Like, there is no
mhm,
time limit, and there
yep,
is nothing that is too far bent, far off, too hard that God
yep,
can't fix. From a natural eye, of course, like we're like, well, the doctor said this is what he does for a living. He studies this for a living. He kind of knows, but
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 God,
but
like,
God,
and
exactly.
I appreciate you telling me this story, and I appreciate you telling me on the platform. But like, you just gave me so much motivation.
Good.
You did. Like, you don't even understand. You gave me so much motivation. So for you, now that you're at a place to where um they said what they said, we're not even about to address what they said because it ain't even true. Um, do you what wait, first I want to ask this. When you were going through that process of getting your feeling back, was there something that you did or did it just come back naturally?
Oh, I was doing the exercises that the physical therapist had told me to do,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave me one of those bands, those stretch bands, and so I would
Yeah.
put it, underneath my foot, underneath my toes, and would, constantly pull on it when I had no
Mhm.
feeling. And then when the feeling slowly started to come back, in addition to that, I would just, how sometimes you can't do one thing with one hand if you don't do it with the other.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I'd have both feet, laying out, and I would, make my right foot, do something and try to get the left foot to copy it. And so
Yeah.
doing, the movement of, trying to, clench my toes and then open them up and clench them. And it's just one of those exercises I do constantly
Hmm.
along with that. And that's what I was doing is just, you know, every day, just, looking at it and going, okay, if the right foot can do it, the left foot can do it.
Hmm.
And there was one point when my first toe was my big toe on that foot that actually moved.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing was, when it first moved, I still had no feeling. But I
Really?
every day I would look at it and I would pray and I would focus my brain power on that one toe and tell it to move. And suddenly one day, after weeks of doing this, my big toe started to move. I said I still couldn't feel it,
Yeah,
but it
but it.
moved. And so, and just I know other people, it may not be as big of a deal, but I was so excited. I recorded it and I'm sending the video out to everybody. Like, my big toe moved. It moved. It's like I have another miracle.
Right, right, right. Like it's a miracle. Like y'all don't even understand because there was a point where I couldn't even move it. So this is huge. This is like
Yeah,
national news at this point.
exactly. And so it just eventually, and like I said, and after it got past that 12-month point, and then it got to be, 14 months and 16 months, you do start to wonder, is that feeling really ever going to come back? And it was the craziest thing. I have a recliner that I sit in a lot because I still have to keep my feet up a lot
Yeah.
because of the scar tissue.
Mm-hmm.
It causes swelling if I'm not careful with it.
Yeah.
And so I had my feet up, watching TV, and I was with my boyfriend. He happened to walk by and just touch the bottom of my foot and my toes,
Uh-huh.
just kind of, going by. And I jumped. And
Cause
that
you
was
could
when I
see.
realized the feeling had come back. There's
That's
just, yeah, just out of the blue. And he gave me this look like, what did I do? I'm like,
you don't even understand. You just
you don't get
ignited
it.
something.
And so I told him to come back, do it again, do it again.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's how I found out at the 18-month mark that the rest of my feeling had come back. It was just,
That
yeah,
is
another
crazy.
miracle.
So I can only imagine when you went to the doctor because wait, first before I don't want to assume. Do you regularly had to go to doctor's appointments?
I did for a while in the first couple of years. They had to do other appointments because there is a test that they can run on a person to
Mm-hmm.
find out if they have the predisposition for blood clots. Well, they ran that test, of course, too. And get this, it showed I do not have the predisposition. So that was another shocker to them because
Because like where did it come from?
how does a person without the predisposition for it end up with a body full of them? It made no sense. So, but because it happened, they had me on blood thinners for years, and I had to go in for the first couple of years and have complete ultrasounds done on the bottom half of my body, so
Mm-hmm.
they would check, my veins, my arteries, just making sure that everything looked fine.
Yeah.
And every time I did that, it came back clear. Everything was fine. And so, every time I just thank God again that, just,
Okay.
yeah, it was just a medical fluke, basically, is what they call it.
Nah, what it was God showing himself that these doctors don't have nothing on what he can do. Like
Exactly.
God got this. Like watch you work with my child. Hold on. I got y'all. I'm gonna prove y'all wrong real quick. That is so like that's crazy that you have no pre-diagnosis of any type of history of blood clots, yet your whole body was filled with them.
Yeah.
Like what?
Mm-hmm.
That is so right now you're at a place to where right now you're at a place to where you have atrophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that, is there any I don't want to say cure, but is there anything that you have to do regarding helping it or maintaining it or even having it disappear?
The only things the only thing the doctors have said they think they can do is surgery in the future to straighten. But like I said, I still have hope that I can maybe do it through the toe straighteners, those types of things, because they said if you still have some movement. And so I'll test my toes
Yeah.
and I'm able to move them if I pull them myself. I
Hmm.
just don't have the power in them to make them move on their own. But I
Yeah.
figure if they're still limber enough, that I can move them,
Hmm.
then, if I just keep using those
Yeah.
straighteners, that's my hope, is that eventually I will get them to straighten out, or at least to the point where it doesn't cause an issue. Because like I said, I'm so thankful that my disability, or handicap, I like to call it, not really a disability, I guess, is, that's all it is. It could have been
Yeah.
so much worse with everything I went through, but it does affect me where, walking too much, exercising, just getting around, the pain can be so horrible. And it just,
Horrible.
yes, when it hits, whew, it's not fun.
It's
Yes. And so that's what I will hopefully someday will get over. But I have learned some tricks to get by it. Because like with exercise, they tell you, oh, you need to wear the proper shoes. And, usually that means tennis shoes. But I finally figured out, I love my Skechers. Ever since the incident, Skechers are my thing. They're
yeah,
comfortable. They work on my poor feet.
yeah,
But my Skechers sandals, because it's open toe, I now walk with those. I exercise with those because it leaves my
really
toes that room to move, so they're not constantly bunched up
tight.
in
Yeah.
something. Yep. So spring, summer, fall, favorite times of year, because I can wear my
Okay.
sandals.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
toes
yeah,
can be open, and that helps, but it still doesn't that doesn't take care of the complete problem. And
yeah.
so,
No.
like I said, I'm a God girl, got my faith, and
Yeah,
everything that I've gone through, I think it's him, teaching me something and teaching everybody else something. Everybody who knows me,
yeah.
they've learned something through this, and it's given me a new purpose.
Hmm.
So, I'm thankful for that he even believed I had the strength to handle something like that. So I'm grateful for that. But I also still have hope that I will completely get through it. And then I'll have one more part to my story that I can then share to inspire
Yeah.
others.
I think that's so amazing because I was talking to one of my guests last week and she pretty much said the exact same thing. It's giving, the stuff that we go through, we don't know how strong we are until God gives it to us. But at the
Yep.
same time, although it's a lot, we're grateful, and me included, because I deal with stuff all the time too with my medical conditions. We're grateful that God chose us and He knows us that we can handle it. And not only that, people are people around us are having a different relationship with God because of what we deal
Yep.
with. Like you never know. And I say this all the time, like we don't go through stuff for ourselves. We go through stuff to learn, to better ourselves, but we don't go through stuff for ourselves. A lot of times we go through stuff for other people around us that may have a blinded eye or a deaf ear to how great God is.
Yep.
And they need someone close to them to see it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, if it hit her, how close can it be to me? You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. So I think that's dope that you said that because that's an added confirmation to what my guest just said last week. Literally. To the T. Super dope. Oh my gosh. Like you're amazing. And I
Thank you.
definitely, because now that we're on the up and up, we're on the up and up, we got to talk about your book. We got to talk about the poetry. We got to talk about it.
Um, Wait, that was it's with everything I went through, I'll say this, one of the toughest days I had. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I said, even through all the pain, because when the nerves were coming back, that was the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
And even through that, through everything, one of the toughest days I had was when I realized I had almost died without ever realizing my biggest dream of becoming a published author. When that hit me, I mean, I had one of those days where I broke down and just sobbed, and then told myself at that point, I'm not going to let that happen. And
Mm-hmm.
so even though I was laying there, in a recliner, my leg up, covered in bandages and going through all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
5 months after the incident, while I was still recuperating, I finished and published my first book and became a published author. And then, yes. And then 2 months after that, published my second book.
Let's go.
And
Come on.
yeah, and then after that, I just didn't stop. And then it became other things. I started publishing journals and planners, because I love to write, I love to journal,
Yeah.
and it helps me. And I thought, well, if I publish some, it can help others and I can guide them through doing that. So I just started finding other ways that I could do things and share things with other people. And then last year I put together a poetry book, but I wanted it to be something more. The
Yeah.
poetry, I love poetry, and
Mhm.
I thought about just putting it out that way, but
Mhm.
with everything I had been learning, because I also became a certified life coach because I wanted to find a way to help other women.
Yeah.
So with some of those lessons, I created a poetry book that's of course part poetry, but it also for every poem has an accompanying coloring page and journal pages. So the person reading the poetry can then express themselves by doing the coloring and by either writing their own poem or just expressing how the poem makes them feel in the journal pages.
I like
Yeah,
that.
so they say the three together actually help mental health and wellness. It helps with memory. It
Yeah.
helps you sleep better. There's so many things that come from combining those three things together.
Mhm.
So that's the book I created last year, called it Expressions, so that people, have a way
That's
to express themselves.
wow.
And yeah, so that's the new book.
Gabe, can
And
you put that up? Expressions. Can you put that up so we all can see? Um, so when you wrote the books, did you have a target audience? Thank you. Did you have a
thank you.
target audience that you wanted to reach, or was it to anyone that just needs that expression?
Just anyone who needs that help and that expression.
Mm-hmm.
In my coaching, I most of the time focus on women. And as I finally was talking to another coach one time, and she was asking me, well, who's your audience? Who are your peeps? And I finally told her, I said, the best way I can describe it is all those women out there who, maybe every day say to themselves, I didn't sign up for this. And I help them take that and turn it into, I love my life. That's what I want to do.
That is the greatest definition ever. Like, because literally, like, I did not sign up for this, and then turn that into like, I don't want to change who I am. I
Yep.
actually enjoy it. I think that is so dope. Isn't it crazy how you write one book and you can't stop?
Yes. Yep. Working on two others right
I
now.
mean,
Yeah. And it's just going to continue. I just,
right. Like it's crazy because I wrote my first book during the pandemic, and I was like, I'm only gonna write one. Like that's it. You're not hearing nothing else from me. Child, I'm 5 books in. Like, girl, what? I said one. How you at number five? Like it's crazy. But when you get that momentum, you start figuring out like, wait a minute, I have more to say. I
mm-hmm.
have more, I have more in me. God has really like put more in me. And also I feel like the more we go through, the more knowledge and the more
Mm-hmm.
affirmation, the more ways we can help other people that may not have a voice that we do.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. I want to be able to, not only share my story,
Yeah.
but I hope by sharing my story, I encourage others to share theirs too, that it gives
Hmm.
them that courage, because I know a lot of people, it's difficult for them
Yeah.
to, come out and share and talk about what they've been through. But
Hmm.
for me, maybe because I've always been a talker too, maybe that's part of it. But, I think it's therapeutic to be able to, share it with others, especially, knowing that it could possibly help someone else.
Yeah. So true.
That's therapy for me. And just for example, going in, I went into urgent care one day. I can't remember what it was for, something.
Okay. Hmm.
And I was sitting there up on the, little, whatever, the doctor bench.
Yeah.
And the nurse came in and she noticed the scars on my leg. And so I had to go over a little bit of the story. And by the time I was done telling her about what I had been through, she looked up at me and said, when I woke up this morning, I didn't want to come to work. I was in a bad mood. Just some things have been going on. But she said, because of you, I'm going to have an amazing day.
See?
Just hearing that story has changed me today. And so that gets to you when you know
Yeah.
you can affect someone else in that way. It's, to me,
That is
it's another
so
God
true.
thing.
Yeah, it's so true because you just never know how much your light can shine with other people. And you just
Exactly.
trying to live. Like, I'm here because I'm just trying to get better.
Yep.
That's it. Hi, Mom Charlotte. Love you. And it's just crazy because you never know how strong you are until other people see your strength. Oh, that was good. Gabe, can you put that on? You never know how strong you are until other people see your strength. That was a nugget.
Good one.
All right. I
Preach it.
surprised my own self. I
Title for
surprised
another book.
don't and friend, don't do it because in a few months, if you
I'll be
see it, I'm
watching.
like, it's Anne's fault. Everybody is thank you, Gabe. Because you don't. And
No,
I
you don't.
think that's why God gives people certain things to go through because it connects with certain people. Like, imagine if you would have never gone through what you've gone through because she would have never seen your legs. She would, Joseph, I love you, newlywed. Um, Imagine if you never went in, never been through what you've been through for her to be able to see your legs so you can tell her what
Yep.
how your life is, and then that helped her. Like, man,
It's
that's
amazing what it can
it's
do.
amazing. Where can people find your book?
They can find it on Amazon. So easy. Just put in expressions and, put my name in, Ann C.K. Nickell, and it'll pop up.
Boom. And also, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
Oh, they can find me on Facebook at Ann C.K. Nickell and on Instagram, Ann C.K. Nickell. And I just started a podcast in January. So if they want to follow the podcast, I now call myself the Story Shepherd Coach. That's me.
Oh,
And
okay.
because
Yeah, break that down. What that mean?
um, one night while I was praying and meditating and trying to figure out where God was leading me through all of this,
Mm-hmm.
just I had, I guess you call it, a God epiphany that
Mm-hmm.
came to me that everything I've loved since I was a kid revolves around story. I mean, that was the first talent I knew he had given me, was the talent to write and to tell stories.
Yeah.
And so I want to share my stories, I want to write, but I also want to help others transform their life story movies and create an epic life story movie that becomes a shining light to others and leaves a legacy for their kids and their grandkids. That movie of that life that they would want to watch over and over and over and never tire
Period.
of. That's what
Period.
I want to do. And so I started the podcast called the Story Shepherd Podcast that you can find on Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube, anywhere. Just look for the Story Shepherd Podcast. And so I either share advice each week or I'm going to be interviewing people. And so I may have to have you come on.
I'm,
Um,
I'm ready.
okay. And so I want the other people then to share their stories and the
Yeah.
lessons learned. And so each week I want the audience to be able to pull something from that they can then use to transform their own life stories, because we all deserve a beautiful life story. I
Yeah.
honestly believe that no matter who you are, where you're from, what you've been through, you deserve,
Yeah.
you're worthy of
Yeah.
living that beautiful life story that God made you for.
Right.
I totally believe that, and I want to help others.
That is so true. Cynthia, I love you. Tanya, mother, I love you. I think that is amazing because you just never know. This is what I say. God kept you here for a reason. Remind him why. Like, that's just it. Because people die every day, and especially specifically people that have disabilities and or medical conditions, they're a little bit closer to the spectrum of not making it.
Yep.
But you're still here for a reason, and that's literally for everybody. Remind, because now we're living in a world to where you ain't even got to be sick, and people are dropping. People ain't making it till the next
Mm-hmm.
morning. They're not making it till tonight, 5 minutes from now. So I think that is so dope what you're doing with your podcast. I think your books are amazing too. But I
Thank
think the Story Shepherd podcast, I think that is super dope because it does give people hope and it reminds people that they're worthy and they hold a lot of value. It don't have to be like the next person, but what they have, they hold value and it's for someone.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Come on,
Love it.
and
Yep. We're all different, and I think we're all different for a reason. And we need to find what makes each of us great. I said,
yeah,
and use that and create that amazing story.
I love that. Gabe, can you put that back on the Story Shepherd, please? Thank you. Everyone, go listen and watch the Story Shepherd on Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
Spotify,
YouTube.
YouTube,
What
wherever,
else? All of them.
all the places.
All the podcast platforms. Y'all go watch and listen. And also, Gabe, can you put up where to find her all her social media handles, please? Gabe, you're on it. Okay, I don't care what nobody say. I
Thanks,
am
Gabe.
giving you $1 raise because you're doing your big one tonight. Everyone go follow Ann on Facebook and on Instagram at Ann Nickell. What does CK mean?
The CK, you'll love this. The CK are my parents' middle initials. And
Oh,
so when I was creating a pen name for my writing, I was trying to figure out what to use. And I thought this was a way I could honor my parents and keep them with me always, was by using their middle initials.
I love
So
it. It flows.
thank
And
you.
like it really does.
Yeah,
I,
I like it. And like I said, it keeps them with me all the time.
yeah,
So
I gotta figure out a name now. My name is pretty boring compared to yours. I gotta
I
figure.
love your name. Are you kidding?
Thank you. I appreciate it. My mom would like it too. Honor your parents. Honor your
Yes.
parents for your
Honor
day.
your parents.
Oh, mom, that's why I'm trying to honor you.
Even though my mama liked to tell me I was stubborn. So
Okay, because my mom told me that too, and I don't understand. I don't get it because it
oh,
stems from somewhere. Is all I'm saying.
well, get this. When I have a speech that I'll do when I go and speak at places,
Mm-hmm.
and I started out with this little story about my mom calling me stubborn since the day I was conceived, because this is another weird, God miracle thing. When she was pregnant with me, she was actually pregnant with twins, and she
Oh,
suffered a miscarriage and lost my twin, but I survived somehow. And when she thought it was all over, when she was in the hospital, going through this miscarriage, the doctors then told her, wait, you still have a baby alive in there. And
you were here. I mean, you
God has kept me alive through a
okay,
lot, since the day I was
literally.
conceived. And so she used to joke about that. Once we could get past, what had happened to the joking stage,
Yeah,
past
yeah.
the hard part, that she used to tell me that you have been stubborn since the day you were conceived.
Okay, because it ain't gonna be that easy. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Listen,
So,
I love it. That's hilarious. You're here to stay. Is all
oh
I'm
yeah.
saying. You're
Yeah.
just here to stay.
God knew I love to tell stories, and he's
Right,
given me a lot to tell.
right, right. He said, "Oh, this one's gonna be around for a long time."
Yeah.
And thank you so much for gracing the stage. I do appreciate it. I don't take it
Thank
lightly. Thank you for sharing your story and not just sharing your story, but being vulnerable to share like the good, the bad, and the ugly, like to share your whole story. And I'm looking forward to watching and listening to the Story Shepherd podcast. And also, I'm following you, and also you're stuck with me.
Awesome. I'm glad to be stuck with you. You're stuck with
Listen,
me now.
period.
So, and thank you so much. It was so great being on here. You are awesome.
Thank
Love you.
you.
And yeah, now you're, like I said, you're stuck with me now too.
Period. That's it. Like you're stuck on me.
Yep.
Love you. Gabe's gonna put you in the back. Don't log off though. I'm gonna end the show and we out of here. Love you.
Okay. Love you.
Listen, cause every time, why am I so bright? Like, girl, I feel like it's the lighting because I am just like glowing. I don't know what's happening. Let me tell you, Anne's story is amazing. Like, I don't even know another way to say it. Like, that's just crazy. And God just be doing his thing. Every episode he just be doing his thing and he just be showing out. Golly. Listen, thank you guys so much for tuning in, watching, commenting. Thank y'all. Thank you guys, because you guys could be doing so much other stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love you. Let's get into the church announcements. All right, so next Tuesday, we about to be in April next week. Like, child, the time and the needs to calm it down. Next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Oh, shoot, Gabe, I tried to do it by myself. What is it? 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 10 p.m. Eastern. Girl, you did it. We live and in living color. Also, if you have a disability and or medical condition and you want to be on the show, you already know. Holla at me, because as you can tell, my guests are all dope. Like, that's how we do it on this show. The disclaimer: don't hit me up talking about you done ran to the corner of the bed with your toe or your elbow accidentally hit the wall. I'm sorry. I can't help you. And this show can't help you either. Because the conversation is going to be about 2 minutes and 33 seconds. And I need you to be going through some real life stuff. You got to be dealing with some real life stuff. We miracles over here. We miracles, not incidents. Oh, that was a good one. We miracles, not incidents. I'm dropping nuggets. Oh, if you know someone. Yes. Or if you know, oh, thank you, Mom. Or if you know someone. See, that's why you need to have your mother around. Because if you know someone that has a disability and or a medical condition and you think that would be a great fit for the show, holla at me. Because that was good. We are miracles, not incidents. Let me write this stuff down. Okay, y'all. I love y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. Y'all be great. Y'all be good. This is Holy Week. And be at church on Sunday. Okay? Be at church on Sunday and be at church on Good Friday. Because we all need Jesus. Everybody. Especially now. We're living in the last days. So don't log off though. Because Gabe got something for you. All right, Gabe. You know what to do. I love y'all. Period. And y'all better love me too. Alright. Gabe, get me out of here. Y'all already know what to do. Until next time. Love you.